people going to think of our new buttermilk crispy chicken? Let's find out.
It's probably the best sandwich I've ever had.
It's super crispy, but it's also really juicy.
So would you guys come back? Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, here's our card. The location is on the back. It's McDonald's? What? What?
Oh, get out
No way.
Wait, seriously?
Try some buttermilk crispy chicken. It's right around the corner at McDonald's. Buttermilk.
Welcome back to Ask the Coach. Joe Myers talking with Glasgow head coach Jeff Garman. His ball club a 13-0 winner last night over Warren East to run its record to 3-2 in a matchup with Greenwood Gators coming up on Friday night back there in Bowling Green. We'll talk about that coming up in our next segment. Taking a look at the drive chart from last night's ball game, Scotty's won the coin toss and elected to defer to the second half. So obviously Warren East took the opening kickoff, and Glasgow held them to 3 and out on that opening drive. Warren East punted, giving Glasgow the football at the Scotty's own 40-yard line, and Glasgow came out, put together a beautiful drive to open up the game, a 10-play, 60-yard drive. Drove 10 plays in less than 3 minutes, 2 minutes and 56 seconds the exact time. Jasper Mundy scores on a 2-yard touchdown run. The extra point good for Noah Howard, and it's 7-0 Glasgow with 7:50 to go in the first quarter. I remarked to you, Jeff, after the game that Larry and Bruce and I were having a hard time keeping up with you guys in that first possession. It seemed to us you all were playing faster than you had all year long, and you all have always played fast this season, but it just seemed like you had an extra gear, and you said that you didn't really, that was not really the plan. You just said you thought the kids came out fired up and ready to go.
Well, I mean, we got off to a good start, and mentally it puts you in a good place, and you know, if you probably look back at that series, I think we completed a couple of passes and had a couple of runs, and you kind of get a rhythm. And when this offense gets into a rhythm, you can just tell the difference. And we were in rhythm. We were in sync to start off this ball game, and took it relatively pretty easy down there and scored, and was able to kick the extra point, and it was good. And you know, that's something that we've struggled with all year long, and it's taken really, I think, you know, and it's, you know, we've got a new kicker in Noah Howard, and he's young. He's a sophomore. He's never kicked before, and he came out this summer, and he's improved so much. I mean, probably has improved as much as any player on the team, and you know, we're trying to find confidence in him to go out there and kick that extra point, and because I know it's kind of been a topic of conversation of, well, why don't they kick extra points? Well, you know, we would kick extra points if we can hit them, and Noah got us off to a good start, and he hit them, and you know, and I had to kind of, you know, I'll take all the criticism they want to throw my way for it, but I kind of had to bring Noah along a little bit slower than what we first anticipated, and in making sure he's comfortable and making sure he's ready, because, you know, it's part of my job, you know, to make Noah successful. And if I didn't feel confident that he was going to be able to do the job, we wouldn't put him out there. And we feel like he can kick it through there. He shows us in practice he can kick it through there. And but equating that into a game sometimes, it's a little bit tougher, and gets a little bit more pressure out here on Friday night. So, you know, I was glad to see him kick that through. I know it meant a lot to him, and it meant a lot to our boys. I mean, our boys want to see him succeed and do well, and it put a smile on everybody's face.
Warren East got the football back at their own 20-yard line, and actually Dalvin, that makes me think, we talked about Dalvin's punting earlier, Jeff, but Dalvin actually had a touchback on a kickoff after that first touchdown too. He booted the heck out of that kickoff.
You know, and I kind of made that decision, you know, and really didn't say anything to the boys. We've been kicking the ball on the ground and trying to eliminate a good play, and a big play on, you know, in our special team area, and I just said tonight I was just going to have him kick the ball deep and see what happens, and sure enough, you know, he kicks it in the end zone, which, you know, if he can do that consistent, that makes a big difference when you're starting on the 20-yard line every time compared to the 40. And we kicked another one later on in the half, and they kind of got out there a little bit on us. We had a little bit of trouble keeping the guy contained, but overall, you know, that'll go unnoticed. those are the type of plays that'll go unnoticed. Dalvin's punting and Dalvin's kickoffs, and those are the plays that really helped set up our defense because we had them pinned back a lot. So it's a total team game, and I thought our special teams and our defense were in sync tonight, and our offense started off really hot, and then we kind of self-inflicted some wounds to ourselves to kind of hurt us a little bit offensively as the game played out.
Well, with Glasgow up 7-0, Warren East did get the football back after the touchback at their own 20-yard line. They put together a pretty good drive and moved inside the Glasgow 40-yard line before the Scotty defense stiffened up and forced Warren East to turn the football over on down. So Glasgow got it back at their own 36 with about 1:49 to go in the first quarter, and then drove 64 yards in 9 plays. It took 2 minutes and 18 seconds. Kyle Nixon capped the drive with a 2-yard touchdown run. The extra point this time was no good, left Glasgow with a 13-0 lead with 11:26 to go in the first half. But you mentioned, such a hot start for your offense to start the ball game. You mentioned how you were just in rhythm, and what it was apparent to me was how kind of taken aback Warren East seemed to be by the tempo of your offense. They really seemed to be back on their heels defensively.
Yeah, and that's what that offense will do to you. And I see it in practice every day. It's hard for our scout team defense to even get lined up. We're going at such a fast pace, and that offense. It's about rhythm. It's about tempo, and when it's working, it's hard to stop. I mean, it really is, and I'm not taking anything away from anybody. It's just hard to stop, and that's something we've got to continue to try to work on and improve, and try to maintain that rhythm, try to maintain that tempo, but as the game plays out, some of that goes one way or the other, and I thought Will did a real good job in that second half. We were struggling just a little bit, but he ended up putting a good drive together there in the fourth quarter, or late in the third or the fourth quarter, that kind of kept them at bay. And I think Will knew our defense was playing pretty well at that time, and he wasn't going to do anything to keep us from hurting ourselves to not win that football game.
That's your offensive coordinator, Will Barnes, that Jeff is referring to there. Warren East got the football back then at the Glasgow 37-yard line. I guess, Jeff, that's when they got the long return, got it back to the 37-yard line, and then Dalvin Smith would wind up putting an end to that drive, though, as he picked off a pass from Warren East, I think, in the end zone, and then returned it back out to the 8-yard line, and that was a big play there by Dalvin, Jeff. The quarterback, Satterfield, went back and kind of threw it up for grabs. Dalvin went up, and if there's going to be a jump ball, I'll take my chances with Dalvin Smith.
Yeah, and Dalvin does a good job of putting himself in those positions to be able to play jump balls like that, and it was a good play, and it was a play that we needed at that time. And while we're talking about Dalvin, let's just talk about the rest of the secondary. I think, if we looked at our whole team, I thought the secondary has probably been as consistent as anybody all year long in their tackling and also in their ball skills. I think right now we've got 10 turnovers from a defense, and we've committed 2 turnovers, and a lot of those have come from plays that we've intercepted the ball or we've picked up a fumble. And hats off to Coach Cassidy. He works with our secondary, and I just think they've done really well all year long. And that is probably our most seasoned area on the football team, and I think it shows on Friday nights.
Each team would punt on its next 2 possessions, and the Scotties got the football back at their own 48-yard line with about 2:12 to go in the first half. This is what Jeff was talking about just a minute ago. Scotties drove into Warren East territory and had a chance to maybe punch in a score before the half there and then get the ball back to start the third quarter. It was not meant to be. Desi Austin rolled out under some pressure and kind of just threw a ball down the field, hoping his receiver could go and get it, but it wound up being intercepted by Josh Mitchell, and then Warren East took a knee there to end the half. So we went into halftime with Glasgow up 13-0. Scotties would have to punt on their first possession. Warren East then took over and drove into Glasgow territory. Again, the Scotty defense would hold. Then each team again would punt on a couple of straight possessions there. And then really you get late into the game, it's just kind of a back and forth. Warren East would drive into our territory, but your defense would every time turn them back, Jeff. You might have given up some yards on some of those drives, but when it came right down to the nitty-gritty, you guys got to stop when you had to have them on all those drives in the second half.
I've never been a defensive coordinator that worried about yardage. I've always looked at points allowed, and that's, everybody's got their own style and things that they hang their hat on. I try to hang our hat on points allowed, and we've struggled in that a little bit compared to how we've been in the past, but I also know we're a little bit younger than how we have been in the past, so that kind of goes hand in hand. But seem like we've been giving up 21 to 26 points a game, and tonight we kind of got them in a game that we want to be in, and we were able to do some things tonight with our personnel, and that was some of the things that we were talking about. We were able to, we were athletic enough to be able to man up on those guys out there on the outside, take a couple of linebackers, and I was able to blitz one of them and leave one of them as a spy, and we were using another a safety as a spy on the back. So, we kind of had them in the way we had, the way I had it figured and played out. It played out that way, and I just thought it was overall a really good defensive night for everybody. We had another, Jasper had probably a pick six there that he had in his hands, and I think he looked up and to look up to see what was in front of him, and I don't think it was nothing but green grass. So, we had another big turnover there that we could make, and they coughed the ball up a couple times too that we just wasn't able to get on the fumbles. So I thought, the defense, I thought they played pretty well tonight.
And appropriately, the defense pretty much sealed the win. Late in the game, Evan Riddle intercepted a pass by Warren East with about 30 seconds to go to really seal the victory, and Glasgow was able to come back out and just take a knee to end the game. So the Scotties win it 13-0 over Warren East. They'll take on Greenwood next Friday night. We'll come back in just a minute and get a quick comment from Coach Garman about the Gators, and look at the final stats from last night's game as well. We're back after this on WCLD Sports.